Okay, so today we're gonna make Channa chickpea wraps. And chickpeas or garbanzo beans are the main ingredient of these wraps, so high in protein and vegetarian. And sometimes they're called chickpeas, sometimes they're called garbanzo beans. So we're using 1 can of these, but you can always go ahead and double it, whatever, triple it. This is going to be, today I'm doubling it, so we can make some extras to put in the freezer and such. Okay, so that's the recipe for the actual wrap, the chickpeas and all. And then on the back here, I have the recipe for the things that we put in the wraps. So you put some fresh cilantro and pickled onions, and then plain yogurt or yogurt chutney that you can drizzle inside the wrap. And I'm going to show you how to make all those, but here's the actual recipe for them. Okay, so we're going to start with our pan on a little low. Kind of got a little bit too warm there, so I'm just going to take it off. And the recipe calls for both oil, but I kind of put a little bit of oil and butter. I mean, I use the recipe, I kind of make it with a little bit of half oil and half butter. So that way it kind of adds a little more richness to it. And it also, doesn't let the butter burn with the oil in there. So we're going to go ahead and start that. Alright, so we're going to do, well, first I'm going to put the oil in so that butter doesn't burn. Okay, so we're going to put about a tablespoon of oil. Okay. And a tablespoon of butter. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put our onions in. And you're just going to let these cook until they're nice and tender. Who's checking to make sure that we got a good video going here, Deb?
Oh, you ought to smell it in here. It is fantastic.
Make sure everything's in the frame and all. Okay, so I'm going to get a little spoon holder out here. There we go. All right. Okay, and you don't want them to be brown too much, just nice and tender. Okay. Now I did tell you I was going to double this recipe, so I'm going to put a little bit more oil because I've got 2 cans of the garbanzos. And you can always reduce this. You don't have to add quite as much, but it just kind of helps make it nice and rich since it's, like it's kind of a main dish. So, all right, go ahead and add that in. It kind of makes your sauce for the garbanzos. This is like such an easy recipe. It only has 4 ingredients. You could just make this like quick after work, whatever. Get your oil and butter, your onions, and then we're going to put in our masala, which is Channa Masala. And the Channa Masala has lots of ingredients in it. It does have salt in it, so that's why I don't add any salt in the recipe unless you need it. Let's make sure you can see it there. Okay. Sometimes it comes in cans. Sometimes it'll be in packages like this. This MTR is our favorite. And this can be added in with any kind of garbanzo beans. It can be added in with potatoes. It's really a good spice mixture. But you do need quite a bit of it because, like I said, it has the salt, it has some sugar in here, it has everything. So what you need is quite a bit of it so that it'll give a flavor. So the recipe actually calls for 2, let's see here, 1 heaping teaspoon of Channa Masala, so I've got 2 heaping teaspoons of Channa Masala in there. Okay? So you're going to put that in with the butter because that helps to kind of roast the masala. brings out the flavors of the spices. And you just kind of let it cook in there. That oil and heat makes the spices just taste really good. All right, I've got a little paste going. Now we're going to add in our, I'm trying to turn it up a little bit because we're going to add the garbanzos. The garbanzos I've rinsed and drained from the can. You can start with fresh dried ones if you want, but these are nice and easy. Just from the can, okay? And I'm going to toss that in there. I think I need to add one thing onto the recipe that I didn't put on there, and that is about 3/4 cup of water. So I'm just going to add that on there because I just made this recipe up. So 3/4 cup of water, and that's going to go in right now. So 3/4 cup of water goes in. Okay, and so it's going to let that steam and cook and meld together nicely. All right, I'm going to get a lid for it. Lid here, I think this one might fit it. Let's see. Have a good one? Yeah. All right, so we're just going to let that boil and steam for maybe about 10 minutes or so. Okay. So I forgot to add the water in, so I told them that I added that onto the recipe.
That's perfect.
Okay, so you can see that the 3/4 cup water on the recipe there. All right. Now let's go ahead and make the chutneys that can go on here. First of all, I've got the cilantro, and I kind of get it nice and coarsely chopped because I like the kind of bigger leaves in there. It kind of tastes really nice. And then we're going to do the first chutney is going to be the one with the South Indian podi powder. So I have the recipe for that here, for the South Indian podi chutney. Okay. All right. So we're going to take 1 cup of the yogurt, okay, and we're going to add in two tablespoons of the podi powder. Now this, I don't have the package for this, but it's in the spice masala section in the Indian store, and it's in the, like at Lily Market or the Asian markets, it'll be right in where they have all the masalas and the Indian spices. It's actually used in South Indian cooking, and what's really cool about it is that it has a lot of dal in it, which are lentils that have the protein, and it has, like it'll have sometimes nuts, sesame seeds, so again you're getting another variety of protein. Pretty healthy, and it also has some red chili powder, a little salt. It's really tasty. When you add this to yogurt, you can use this type of yogurt chutney for so many things. All right, so we're going to add 1 and 2. All right, and we're going to mix this up. It does get a little spicy, so if you don't want to add 2, just put 1 in there and go for it. Okay, so mix it thoroughly. It kind of sits, let it sit so it can have all the spices get nice and melded into the yogurt. Okay, so that's how it looks. All right, so I'll set that there. And now we're going to take, for the cilantro chutney, which I made in another video yesterday. I'm just gonna add some of that cilantro chutney to some yogurt. So like for this much yogurt, you might add, oh, maybe like that much of the chutney. And it's gonna be really good. And just kind of whisk that in there. Let me see if it needs any more. I think it could use a little bit more actually. All right, let's add a little more of that. And then what I'm gonna also do, I think it needs a little bit of salt. So I'm just gonna add some salt. Okay. All right, let me just check my garbanzos here. They're bubbling away. Okay. Now, what I do is I mash some of them up, and you can do that with the back of a spoon. You don't have to mash them all the way, but just mash them a little bit so that they get a little kind of homogenous and a little thicker. You can use something like this also, and that'll kind of make that cook down a little bit more so that they'll go into your wrap nicely. If you feel like it's a little bit too soupy, you can just leave the lid off, but I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer with the lid. Okay. Hot. Okay. All right, so let's mix this up. Okay. All right, now let's see how we got. Excellent. All right, now, so those are some of the toppings. Okay. The next thing is the pickled onions. Now I went ahead and pickled those, but the recipe shows that you take the water and vinegar, red wine vinegar. You don't have to use red wine vinegar. You don't even have to use red onions, but it kind of looks pretty that way. So, and then put the water in the microwave, heat it up for about 1 minute, pour it over your onions and let them sit. And it'll be the vinegar, water, and sugar. You can add a pinch of salt too, just to make that, bring out the rounded flavor of the onion and all. And then let them sit for at least a half an hour. They can go overnight, they can go for a couple days. They just get a little softer as you go. So those are gonna be put in with the wrap too. These are looking. Ooh, nice. See that? I'm gonna mash it a little bit more. And now I'm gonna take a little taste. Just to see how our salt is. This Channa Masala, I think, even has black pepper in it. It has cumin, mango powder. The mango powder is really what's special about it too, because it adds a sourness. So you're getting a lot of different seasonings again. You're getting sweet, you're getting a little sour, you're getting salty. Very good. I think it might be able to use maybe a little bit more of this. Maybe not. It's a little spicy, so I don't want it to get too hot. Maybe it needs a little bit more salt. Kind of got to think. I need my taster here. Hey, taster, are you there?
What?
I need my taster.
Okay.
Alright, let me get a clean spoon for Papu. Okay. Alright, here you go. See what you think of the Channa. Alright, then we're going to start roasting the tortillas here.
Oh, they're cooked perfectly.
Yeah. See, it's going to be hot.
I know. Whoa, don't want to do that.
We need more masala, more salt. Burned them out.
Just a little bit more salt, otherwise it is perfect.
Okay.
Very good.
More salt.
That is good.
So do that.
But not too much.
Alright.
Oh, that is good stuff.
Alright, so we are going to turn this off. The lid back on. Turn it off. Alright. Now, like I said in the recipe, you can just put that right in a tortilla and just eat it straight up like that. You could put it in a tortilla and just add the onions. You could put it in there and add any of these toppings you want. You can also add like some garlic chili, the sriracha. You can add any of those things. So we're gonna start. There's my tortillas, there they are. But you can also roast the tortillas first, or you can put them in a pan and just kind of grill them that way. I'm gonna roast them on top of the stove here. Okay. Just get a little char on them. Sometimes we'll put them in a pan with a little, bit of oil and just kind of toast it that way. Okay. So these are just like cooling racks that I use for like cookies for baking, for cooling baked goods. But they work kind of good on top of electric stove, because if I had a gas stove, then I would just be like flipping them over the flame. But since we don't have that, we find this works well for roasting tortillas. Okay, let's do some final mix on these. Okay, wash my hands. It's getting warm in here. Alright. Yeah, we're hoping temperatures are going to start going down. This summer's been very hot, but they're getting down in the morning, which we like. Now, Papa's theory is roast this a lot and put that on the inside of the wrap so that it kind of gets that toasty flavor on the inside. So I'll do that one. I'm going to make 2 right now. All right, take that off. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start filling this one here. Now these tortillas are kind of small. I actually probably would, okay, this is what not to do. Actually, it's not too bad. Papu would go for that one, okay? All right, so I'm gonna start filling this. Like I said, they're a little small, so I can't really wrap them. You know, I'm just gonna roll them up. All right. I normally would use like those little bigger ones. Oh yeah, okay, should be good. You can also use like the Greek flatbread. That works really well with this too. All right, so now we're going to put this one we're going to make with the podi chutney. Put a nice amount on there. I got one of the tortillas grilled like that you like it.
Okay. Can I eat it?
Almost on accident. Actually,
Can I eat it?
All right, then we're going to put some of the pickled onions. Okay. And some cilantro. Okay. Right. And then you can just kind of wrap it up. Okay, like that. Let it sit and kind of steam for a few minutes. All right. Now we're going to do this one. Yeah, we're going to do this one with the green. Okay, some pickled onions. Put a little extra on because I know Papa likes it. And then some cilantro. Okay. And then, oh, I think I got this one too full.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I'll eat it.
All right, so I'll just let it steam there for a minute. All right, so that's basically what we've got here, our Garbanzo, Chole, Channa, chickpea wraps. I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the inside. All right, so there you go.